For BWYellowJackets.com, I'm Brendan Gulick, joined by two of our finest from the fall sports season. We had two academic All-Americans on the football field, and Ryan Sympson, who's an offensive lineman, and defensive back Kyle Kelly. Really proud of what they did in the classroom and on the field. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So a fun season. Let's start with what the team did on the field. 8-2, best year since 2011, and actually only the second time in the last 15 years that the team finished with at least 8 wins in their 10 games. So it kind of felt like these last couple years the program continues to grow and grow. You just finished your second year under head coach Jim Hilbert. Where do you guys feel like the program has taken some good steps forward?
I think with Coach Hilbert coming in, he's been a big help for us, big culture change and more toughness, I think. And in the future, I think we could just even get more tough. I think that's like our main focus this offseason is just toughness and getting that extra step to be able to win that last game against John Carroll to make the playoffs and continue the season.
And yeah, I mean, I think you've seen 2 big steps forward with his first 2 years. I think that makes next year even more important because you take those 2 steps forward, you definitely don't want to take that step back.
I thought it was really fun that, especially given the way the schedule shook out, playing Mount Union early in the year and coming up a little short against them, it almost felt like it was a playoff feel every week because you knew 9-1, you still probably had a chance to get in. What was the mentality knowing that it almost felt like you had 7 playoff games that you constantly had to just stay focused on what you were doing?
I mean, I think the whole mindset for the season was just 1 week at a time. Go 1-0, win that game that week. Don't worry about the next opponent and just go from there.
Yeah, and we knew after we lost them out that we were going to have to win out. We were going to have to be 9-1 to have a shot to make the playoffs. So, yeah, every game, like you said, was a playoff game and high intensity of practice every week and even more intense on Saturdays.
It certainly was fun to watch the Yellow Jackets on both sides of the ball. Offensively, averaged nearly 40 points a game, more than 450 yards of offense per game. And on the defensive side, some really fun series, some big takeaways. This was a fun year to follow Yellow Jacket football, and proud of both you guys for what you did to contribute on the field. But this is an academic award, and a lot of people don't realize how difficult it is to excel at both. And it feels like, as a Division III athlete, to be recognized as an academic All-American, it kind of embodies what Division III is all about. Your scholarships aren't tied to football. It's tied to your academics. Can you talk me through maybe a little bit of the pride that you feel in achieving something like this?
Well, yeah, coming to play football at Division III college, you don't get any scholarship for playing football, but you do get scholarships for your academics in high school. And just wanting to continue that process through college, I obviously want to go to grad school, dental school in the future, so I still have to keep my grades up and just excel in the classroom to be accepted in those areas. So I take a lot of pride in keeping my grades where they are and how I do in the classroom.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, not many of us will be going pro. I mean, it's worked out for me, but you never know. So ultimately, I'm going to be making my money from what I do in the classroom. So that definitely keeps me on track, keeps me focused. And playing football is just something that I love. We're not getting money to do it. So number 1 right now, obviously academics. Playing football is just a good opportunity that we get to have.
You're a Northeast Ohio guy, right? So where was BW on your throughout that recruiting process when you're at St. Vincent St. Mary and you're starting to think about college football? How did that whole process go for you, and maybe what was your experience like that drew you here?
Well, I mean, my dad played here in the late 80s, so not that it was set in stone that if I'm playing D3 football in the OIC, it was going to be here. But, you know, Coach Meyer reached out pretty early, and he was just awesome throughout the whole process. Came up here a couple times, loved it every time, and here I am.
I know your dad was on the OAC championship team back in the 80s, and I didn't know if it was totally set in stone or if you had the opportunity to think about it a little bit, but it's good to know the Jackets have always been in your blood. How about for you, Ryan? Maybe a little bit different.
I actually did not have any knowledge of Baldwin Wallace until like December of my senior year of high school, I think. I wasn't sure if I was going to play after the season my senior year. I always wanted to, but like I was kind of on the fence about it. And I always thought I was going to try to walk on at YSU. And I remember going to a camp at YSU, and they brought out their offensive line guys, and these dudes are still like 6'8", 6'7", and I'm like, all right, maybe I can't walk on at YSU. So I came here on my first visit, I think had to be either late December or early January, and I just fell in love with it right on the spot. It was like, as soon as I knew, I was like, that's where I want to go. Nothing else is going to be able to beat that. And I visited other places in the conference even, and there was just nothing like here.
Take me through a little bit of the academic rigor and the academic experience that you've had here that you feel is going to put you in a position to succeed when you go to graduate school, considering you're both kind of heading that direction.
Well, with football, you have to balance your football and schoolwork, so you always have to kind of plan ahead, allot your time to know, all right, I'm going to do this then, and then after practice, I can get this done, so I can be in bed by 9:30, so I can get up at 5:30 to lift in the morning. So, and I think going into grad school, that'll help because we'll be used to like having that time, like framing out all of our time work and just knowing when we're going to have to do stuff to get stuff done for the next day or in the future test or whatever we have planned.
Yeah, and obviously the academics are tough, but we have a group of guys. We always get together. Ryan was my roommate last year, taking similar classes. It's a lot easier when you have a group of guys studying the same stuff, getting together, and it just, I mean, studying obviously isn't fun, but when you have a group of guys doing it together, it makes it go a lot quicker and more efficiently.
BW's had a pretty impressive tradition historically of academic All-Americans. In fact, more than 110 of them all time, and these are two of the four that we had from the fall season. Danny Ruppel and Rachel Bender of our men's and women's soccer teams were also recognized, and as I understand it, all four of you will be recognized at a basketball game this week, so looking forward to having you there. Let's wrap up with maybe a little bit of forecasting for next year. We'll talk about football, and the Super Bowl just concluded this weekend, so it's officially the off season for everybody, right? And yet there really isn't too much of an off season because you don't want to let everything that you've worked on kind of go to waste. How do you try to balance that academics with your athletics in the non-competing season, knowing that you can't really take your foot off the gas too much, but this is your time to let your bodies recover a little bit?
Well, we're lifting in the morning now. We started lifting the second week back from Christmas break. So that's all we have in the morning until spring ball starts. So it frees up a lot of time after class for us to get schoolwork done and whatever homework or at work if you have a job to get all that stuff done. So that's nice to just keep on track with that. But I almost think it's kind of harder not having practice to keep up with your schoolwork because it's like, all right, I have 6 hours at night instead of 3. So you have to almost like, all right, I got to do all my
Time
homework.
to buckle down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it's a lot easier to stay on top of things in season because you got that routine and you've got that short amount of free time that you know that you have to knock out homework and whatnot. But I mean, we got a house now with a couple guys. We stay on each other about making sure we get our stuff done. It's tougher, but we'll be all right.
Well, on behalf of Coach Hilbert and on behalf of everybody in our athletic department, congratulations. It's a really cool honor, and you shouldn't take it lightly. Your family should be really proud.
Thank you.
All right. Ryan Sympson, Kyle Kelly, academic All-Americans, something that will be next to their name, that All-American honor forever. Congratulations to them, and we'll see you next time here at bwyellowjackets.com.